Praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahshua, Bashem, Rakago, Dash Shalom to the 144,000 rest elected, Dash Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video Hermeneutics, Jeremiah 49, 50, and 51. I'm going to let it play on the audio here, on the blue letter, and then I'll stop here and there if I have to put input as to what these verses mean. Because we've been we finished about a month ago. It took us about a month to do Jeremiah 50, and we did Jeremiah 51 last Saturday, but we went through a lot of scriptures, so I just want to let it play and not give you too much scripture, just let it play, and I'll just go from there. So let's go. So this is Jeremiah 49. The whole chapter, then it's going to go right into the 50th and 51st verse. And this proves that the awakening and us being in Babylon, this is Babylon, America is being Babylon. You're going to find that out when you, mainly in the 50th chapter, it speaks about Judah and Israel coming together. Also, I believe that's in the it's in Jeremiah 23. It's in a bunch of it's in Hosea 1. It's in a bunch of different scriptures. So anyway, let's go. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
Chapter 49. Concerning the Ammonites, thus saith the Lord, Hath Israel no sons? Hath he no heir? Why then doth their king inherit God, and his people dwell in his cities? Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will cause an alarm of war to be heard in Rabbah of the Ammonites, and it shall be a desolate heap, and her daughters shall be burned with fire. Then shall Israel be heir unto them that were his heirs, saith the Lord. Howl, O Heshbon, for Ai is spoiled. Cry, ye daughters of Rabbah, gird you with sackcloth, lament and run to and fro by the hedges. For their king shall go into captivity, and his priests and his princes together. Wherefore glorious thou in the valleys.
Now that's talking about Moab, right? Moab. I'm sorry, Ammon. It says Ammon. So this is talking about not just Esau, but the other nations outside of Israel that are not Israelites. They're going into captivity. They're going into captivity. That's slavery. In case you don't understand the meaning of the word captivity, it's slavery.
Thy flowing valley, O backsliding daughter, that trusted in her treasure, saying, Who shall come unto me? Behold, I will bring a fear upon thee, saith the Lord God of hosts, from all those that be about thee, and ye shall be...
When this kingdom is established, we're going to be happy, and the other nations are going to be in fear.
Driven out every man right forth, and none shall gather up him that wandereth. And afterward I will bring again the captivity of the children of Ammon, saith the Lord. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts.
Now, that's what I wanted to get into, the meat and potatoes, are the Edomites.
Is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee.
Teman represents the Germans because they're known for their wisdom. They're known for their wisdom. Says here, 7th verse, concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, armies, is wisdom no more in Teman. The wisest of the Edomites are from Germany. His counsel perish from the prudent, the smart, which are the Germans. Is their wisdom vanished? Because they're not going to have a way to get out of this.
Turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau...
That means when the law that was given to Moses, the Most High's law, when let's say you grow grapes for wine in Israel, you're supposed to only take 90% of that and leave 10% for the poor. That was your welfare system. So no one starved in Israel. So what the Most High is saying, when a thief comes, a thief takes, they don't clean the house out. They don't take the couches, the tables. They'll take the money, the jewelry, and anything that's valuable that they can change it into money. So when the Most High comes, he's gonna rob y'all, but he's gonna take everything, the furniture, everything going. That's going into Babylon the Great, which is America, the U.S. There's not going to be any root left or foundation to build on. That's going to be uninhabitable forever, and America's going to be here forever. That continent, the U.S., which is touching Canada, will be thriving. Central and South America will be thriving, but America will be a desert. So in between Canada and Central and South America, you're gonna have this 2,000-mile desert, and no one is allowed to go on that desert.
A bear, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and
his secret places is corruption. Everybody's way. Nobody believes at this point in a year, his second term. Nobody believes this guy. Even the Red Hatters, they don't believe this guy.
Brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken.
We weren't supposed to drink the cup, because we weren't supposed to go off. We went off, and the Most High punished us for that.
And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished?
So now, you got Genesis talking about Edomites can make it. They got to be punished. We were punished, and we are the Most High's people. We are the sons of the Most High. And these nations are not sons of the Most High. In the bigger sense, they're sons, but they're not the righteous sons of the Most High. For example, Satan is a son of the Most High. The demons on the left-hand side, or the angels on the left-hand side, which are the demons, are sons of the Most High. But we are his number one son. Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Bozrah shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste.
That's a major city, Dedan, Bozrah, of Edom. So that represents Babylon right now.
The curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes. I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, Gather ye together, and come against her, and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen, and
that's these other nations going to cry out against this man, the injustice of this man.
Despised among men. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill.
Mount Seir is a mountainous region. When they went up into the Caucasus, that's also a mountainous region.
Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith.
That's their space program. Chinese didn't go up into space. That whole concept of rockets, the fireworks, numbered rockets, that they what's the word? They sized it up for humans to get into these rockets. But the fireworks and gunpowder came from China. So shouldn't it make sense that China should be the first to go up in outer space? No, because the prophecy says Esau got to go in outer space, and thence I will bring thee down. That was the Apollo space program. 69, 70, you was in the midst of the Vietnam War, then you started going down. When the boys came back home, the American GIs, they came back drugged up. Ain't nobody know about these hard drugs, illicit drugs. It came from the Vietnam conflict. That's what the movie American Gangster was all about, that Denzel played in.
The Lord. Also Edom shall be a desolation. Every one that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. As
all the plagues are the missiles.
In the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man.
So this is not a spiritual takeover, it's a physical takeover by missiles. And the way Babylon is going to be destroyed is the same way Sodom and Gomorrah. You have 5 major cities, Zeboam, Admah, and Oha, if I got them correctly. But I think it was one of them. I think it was I got to look it up, but it was one city that was spared, but the two major cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, were destroyed.
And shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong. But I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out.
That's the small hats. That's the small hats. Anytime you got Babylon's armies in the Middle East, it's for the interests of the small hats. If Iran was to shoot missiles on that land, that part of the Levant, the U.S. would have to get involved. Even though there's no treaty with them. They're not one of the EU nations, or NATO nations, rather.
He shall make their habitations desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of...
So who's controlling this thing? Who are the masterminds behind this? Those people. This is a wag the dog scenario. I don't got to tell you who the dog is.
Therefore, at the cry the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he shall come up and...
Wait a minute. The Red Sea is on the other side of the world. It's uttermost east, not the uttermost east, but the east or the Middle East. You can't call it the Middle East. That whole area, the Levant and the surrounding areas. You got Babylon. You got Euphrates. You got the Red Sea. Let me listen to this again. Give me a second.
Purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The earth is...
He shall make their habitation desolate with them. So two major places are going to be utterly destroyed. The Levant, but it's going to be built back up for us. Parts of Arabia, Havilah, because most likely the Northern Army, which is the U.S. the 4 branches of the military, which is more than 4 branches, there's 5 branches, they're going to converge with the National Guard. So that's not the best time to be in the National Guard or the military, because you're going over there, you're taking a trip over there to stay over there, to be a permanent part of the soil of the Middle East, because you most likely will be stationed in the same place that you were stationed in during Desert Storm, which is the Havilah, which was it was east of the Red Sea, and what is it? Northeast of that base would be the Euphrates.
Moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea.
It was heard in the Red Sea, because that's where the military is going to become, because they're going to be destroyed right there. There's going to be a lot of dead people in that area where the Red Sea, east of the Red Sea. They're east of the Red Sea. The Euphrates is northeast of the armies, of the northern armies. So you got a lot of Jakes that's going to go over there to die. And of course, they're going to all be chipped. Okay? They're all going to be chipped. You got a lot of Jakes, a lot of Jake women. Ephraim, Gad, Benjamin, Reuben, Esau. Other people that joined this man's military or involved in that gathering of the nations. You're gonna be a permanent part of that soil. Ain't no body bags coming back.
Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Bozrah. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pang.
Who's going to be like the eagle? Yahweh Shai is going to be like he. In other words, what Jeremiah is seeing is the Lord coming like an eagle. An eagle comes from high and soars and strikes.
Concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded, and Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea. It cannot be quiet.
That's our whole Levant area and surrounding areas of the Levant. That's going to be a hot spot. There's going to be two hot spots on the planet. Babylon the Great and the Levant and the surrounding areas. So when you have news that they're sending all the troops, all the troops down to the Middle East, down to Havilah, which is today the Arabian desert, Saudi Arabia, that desert in between Kuwait and the Red Sea. When you hear about that and you hear other armies converging on that spot, even in the land of Israel, then you know something's going to happen. And by that time, everybody should be chipped. Everybody in the military of the Northern Army, whether they lieutenants, colonels, sergeants, generals, they're all going to be chipped. And that thing's going to move. Once they put that chip, we always talk about the chip because that's the last prophecy before the deliverance and destruction in the kingdom.
Damascus is waxed feeble and turneth herself to flee, and fear has seized on her. Anguish and sorrows have taken her as a woman in travail. How was the city of praise not left, the city of my joy? Therefore her young men shall fall in her streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day.
That's in the Levant and the surrounding areas, and also in America. But America is going to be emptied of the military,
saith the Lord of hosts. And I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall consume the palaces of Ben-Hadad. Concerning Kedar, and concerning the kingdoms of Hazor, which Nebuchadrezzar king of Babylon shall smite, thus saith the Lord, Arise ye, go up to Kedar, and spoil the men of the east. Their tents and their flocks shall they take away. They shall take to themselves their curtains and all their vessels and their camels, and they shall cry unto them, Fear is on every side. Flee, get you far off, dwell deep, O ye inhabitants of Hazor, saith the Lord, for Nebuchadrezzar king of Babylon hath taken counsel against you, and hath conceived a purpose against you. Arise, get you up into the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, saith the Lord, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone. And
that's Babylon. That's Israel too, but that's Babylon. Because they're going to be open to receive these ICBMs.
Their camels shall be a booty, and the multitude of their cattle a spoil. And I will scatter into all winds them that are in the utmost corners, and I will bring their calamity from all sides thereof, saith the Lord. And Hazor shall be a dwelling for dragons, and a desolation forever. There shall no man abide there, nor any son of man dwell in it.
So we know that that's not talking about the Middle East, because that's going to be built back up. That's talking about Babylon the Great.
The word
in code
of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet against Elam in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah king of Judah, saying,
it mentioned Ammon, I think it was the 48th chapter, mentioned Moab. So it's covering all these major nations that mentioned in also mentioned in Psalms 83. So Edom is not the only ones that's going to be put into captivity. All these nations.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might. And upon Elam will I bring the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and will scatter them toward all those winds. And there shall be no nation whither the outcasts of Elam shall not come. For I will cause Elam to be dismayed before their enemies, and before them that seek their life. And I will bring evil upon them, even my fierce anger, saith the Lord. And I will.
So this is not relegated to the Edomites. Oh, just the Edomites are going into slavery. The other nations, they're going to be good. No, they ain't going to be good. They're going into captivity too. And they're going to get caught up in this war too. But then Elam, the land of Elam, is not going to be destroyed like Babylon or the Levant.
Send the sword after them till I have consumed them. And I will set my throne in Elam, and will destroy from thence the king and the princes, saith the Lord. But it shall come to pass in the latter days that I will bring again the captivity of Elam, saith the Lord.
It said the latter days. What does the latter days mean? Do a word search on the last days and the latter days. It's talking about now.
Chapter 50. The word of the Lord spake.
Now we went over this. It took us about a month to go over this. And we did the last part of Jeremiah 50 was about 3-4 weeks ago. So we finally went through it, but I'm gonna play it again. I'm not gonna give you a whole bunch of 20 scriptures for each verse.
Against Babylon, and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations, and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not, say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein.
Now scholars would say that's the Medes coming against them, but no, it was a surgical strike. They just got the lords. They were drunk. The king of Babylon and his lords, they were drunk. They were drunk, and they would fool. They ate the king's food, which is mostly carbs. Rich people, they eat like white bread. There was a point where the poor couldn't eat white bread because of the process. So the rich was eating white bread, but white bread is not healthy. The wheat bread back in the day was healthy. So there came a time where the poor was able to eat white bread, and they started eating white bread. You should have kept eating the wheat bread.
They shall
brown bread.
Move, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together.
That didn't happen. So scholars will tell you, matter of fact, let me do this. Let me just do this. Let me go right here, just to see what the chat says. Use the chat to our advantage. The North Country against, Israel and their children. In those days, in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, and the children of Judah together. Okay, yeah, let me just go to that. Just ask the chat, what does that mean? Because I said I would go into these breakdowns. A lot of y'all don't go into breakdowns, but that's all right too. It describes the time when Israel and Judah together return, weeping as they go, seeking Yahweh. Did this come to pass? The answer depends on how one understands biblical prophecy. There are three common interpretations. Partial, fulfilled after the Babylonian exile, most historical view, Babylon, blah, blah, blah. Judah did return from exile under leaders in Zerubbabel, Ezra, and Nehemiah. Yeah, but where's Israel at? They sought Yahweh, which they did. That was Judah, though. Rebuilt the temple and renewed covenant worship, old covenant, or first covenant. However, the northern kingdom, Israel, had already been scattered by Assyria 722 BC and did not return as a unified nation. So guess what? Anybody that says, oh, this is going to take place in the last days when the Antichrist comes, if a scholar says that, you know that they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Conclusion, the prophecy fits Judah clearly, but only partially fits Israel. Let's look at this. Let's jump this. Future eschatological fulfillment, meaning future or end days. Esco meaning Esco means the end of something. Eschatology means the study of the end time prophecies. Also, they're called futurists. We are also known as futurists, common prophet and futurists. We say things that are going to happen long before they happen. We can say, like the prophets, they read these, they seen these visions, they wrote them down 2,000 years ago, or more than 2,000 years. We're talking in some cases 3,000 years ago. You go back to Jacob gathering his sons. He spoke about what's going to happen to them in the last days. Moses even saw the end of this thing. Balaam, the Midianite, he saw the end of this thing. He saw the nuclear destruction. He saw the nations going into captivity under the Israelites because he cursed out Balak. He said, let me tell you what these people are going to do. So when a scholar says, oh, that happened during the time of Darius the Mede, put out the no, that's not what it's talking about. So we're out here. So we're dealing with the futurist view, the eschatological view of fulfillment, common in theological reading. Theo meaning God, Latin. Theological study, the study of. Ology, study, the study of God, as they say. Theo meaning God, Latin. Some Jewish and Christian interpreters understand this as pointing to a future restoration. So it's yet to happen when all Israel is spiritually renewed and united. The language of repentance, unity, and covenant faithfulness goes beyond the post-exilic period, right? Conclusion, seen as not yet fully fulfilled, awaiting a future completion. Well, that's good. I'm glad y'all told the truth. Let me read this. Short answer, yes. It came to pass in part, which it didn't, the return from Babylon. No, not completely. Israel and Judah were not fully reunited. So they tell us. So chat tells the truth a lot of times. So let's come back over here. So I'm gonna open this up. Let's hope it doesn't go back to the beginning.
For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein.
That's clearly Russia, the Medes. Isaiah 13, it mentions the Medes.
Move, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God. They shall ask
That's happening right now. When we're on the highways and the byways, when we do the videos on YouTube, you got Israelites coming in, which are the strangers. Isaiah 14. Strangers claved unto them. Those are not other nations. Those are Israelites. I came in under the 7. A lot of y'all men came in up under me and the other apostles and the bishops. And then you got elders now, and you got men that coming in after them. So they're the strangers cleaving on to Israel. You know, even in the case of IUIC, ICBK, they're coming to Israel because they are teaching, you know, we get on them, but they are teaching you that you're Israel. So we believe that there's elect among them.
To Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be...
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Isaiah 14:1. Come and let us make a perpetual covenant with the Lord.
Forgotten. My people hath been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away.
Their shepherds have caused them to go astray are these pastors, ministers, and these false prophets. Especially the churches.
On the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, We offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation...
So that means that these nations know that you're the Israelites, because they said, we didn't do nothing wrong because they went off. So we getting them because they broke the laws. But guess what? That's correct. But guess what? You're going to have to pay for what you did to us.
of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations.
Let me bring that back. I'm sorry.
Because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the...
How are we going to remove out in the midst of Babylon? We're going to be beamed up. Who's going to be beamed up? The elect of Israel. Will Israelites be scattered around the whole planet? Absolutely.
Chaldeans, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo,
Ezekiel 30 goes into the wilderness. When you read Ezekiel chapter 30, and I went through it yesterday, I went through some of it. I went in a word search and I put in wilderness, and wilderness came up a bunch of times. But it was talking about the wilderness when we left out of Mizraim.
I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken.
The assembly of these people from the north are the Russian Republic coming back together. Remember, you had USSR. USSR, United Soviet Socialist Republics. So these were nation states that came together. Then in the 90s, you notice they don't use USSR because it's a whole new. Now it's called Russia.
Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return
Missiles
in vain. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that...
That's Great Britain. America came out of Great Britain.
Bear you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord it shall not be inhabited.
What's the hindermost of the earth? The west. It's going to be a desert.
It shall be wholly desolate. Every one that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished, and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her. Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land.
And that's also in Isaiah 13. So people are leaving. They're saying there's no promise. This is not the promised land no more. But we're going back to what we do better in our homelands.
Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First the king of Assyria hath devoured him, and last this Nebuchadrezzar, king of Babylon, hath broken his bones. Therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land, as I have punished the king of Assyria. And I will bring Israel again to his habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none. And the sins of Judah, and they shall not...
Iniquity of Israel should be sought for, and there should be none, because the Father's going to pardon us because of the sacrificial lamb, which was the Son.
Not be found, for I will pardon them whom I reserve. Go up against the land of Merathaim, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekod. Waste and utterly destroy after them, saith the Lord, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How
800 military bases all around the planet. That's the hammer. That's the hammer right there. Let's listen to that again.
Merathaim, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekod. Waste and utterly destroy after them, saith the Lord, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for...
Their pride is through their military might. Why do you think Nero Redivivos, he has battleships down there off the coast of Venezuela? Because he thinks in his mind God is with them. So the Most High is using this guy
thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware, thou art...
They attempted to convict him of impeachment 2 times. That's a world record right there. Only other time you heard about an impeachment was Clinton. That was 1 time. And that was something that they never did. I don't think there's any record, somebody help me out, of impeachment. That's very rare. So his first term, they attempted to impeach him 2 times. And he was a puppy dog at his first term. He was more for the people than anything. Remember when the C. Ragamuffin, he said, "Well, Easter's coming up. Let the people take the man." You know what I'm saying? He's back here today, his second term. He's 100 times worse. He's in this administration, his second term, he's a tyrant. He wasn't so much of a tyrant back then. So they're all in on it, bro.
Found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. The Lord hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord God of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly, let nothing of her be left. Slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation.
Whose visitation? The Lord's going to visit through his son, Babylon. And he's let me let you hear this again.
God of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly, let nothing of her be left. Slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the...
They're the bullocks and the sheep, the goats and so forth. Because the destruction of Babylon the Great is a ceremonial thing. It's a sacrifice. That's in Isaiah 34. So they got to be taken down this way. This place is going to be a burnt sacrifice. We were here to condemn this place. Most High going to, beam us up if we of the elect. Give diligence to make that call and election sure. We get on the ships, and we're going to get a chance. We're going to get a ringside seat to see that with a burnt sacrifice. It's going to be a burnt sacrifice. When a woman in Israel played the harlot, mainly of a priest, because a priest's family is supposed to represent him. So you have a daughter that plays a harlot, you don't stone her. What you do is you set her on fire. So guess what? This whole going to be set on fire. That's the law.
Slaughter, woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. The voice of the...
Yeah, I was going through videos, thumbnail on the right, had one with what's this guy, Anton, whatever his name is, Anton Daniels. The last video he did was on women. They showed Jake women on the thumbnail, and it says that these women, the new thing is these women, between their legs is stinking. And it was said that they're because they're dealing with all kind of different men. Our women are completely out of order, man. That's why I said, do you want to Edomite women? Edomite women take care of themselves. I know Captain Zariak don't like that, but deep down, he be looking at them women. He said, I don't know, man, Tahar might be right. Let her eat a fine ass Edomite woman that's in shape, bump me one. All she got to do is bump it to me one time, and it's on. I may even do a video on it, showing her in my house. This is my concubine. Baby, tell them what you are. I'm Tahar's concubine. I'm just having fun. But they look, we observe things. When I do my walk, like now it's cold. I said, fuck doing it. Last couple of years ago, I didn't give a damn how cold it was. I said, fuck, I ain't do that shit no more. Wait till it starts warming up. But I hit the weights. I do my conditioning. But when I do that walk, when Lord willing, when the spring come back, I'm gonna see a lot of these. You're gonna see Edomite women, Edomite men walking. You hardly ever see Jake. Every once in a while, you see a Jake out there, and you're normally a man. You don't see those black women out there. And these Edomite women are in shape. Now, if they're in shape, they're eating right. They go to Whole Foods. They go to health stores. They get checkups. They study. They research. Like myself, I'm always like earlier. The last couple of hours, I did one video. Then I was watching videos on. I was watching Yaki, whatever his name. I was watching Yaki. He had did a video on whatchamacallit, on coconut oil, turmeric, and cayenne pepper. And he showed them how to put a shot together. Now I do that too. If like to keep from getting the cold, you can do a cayenne pepper shot, or you can do what I do. I'll take one part organic lemon juice, 2 parts or 1 part spring water. What do you call this? Saratoga, and cayenne pepper. And I use a good amount of cayenne pepper, so it hurts when it goes down. I mix it and I put it down. I also made a cayenne tincture, a cayenne pepper tincture, which that hurts going down, but I'm used to it. You see, a lot of you people I don't expect to get a cold or flu this year. Like last year, I didn't get it. Year before that. Last time I got it was, I don't know, 5 years ago. I think you called it 7-year flu. So I'll be shocked if I get a flu or a cold or even the sniffles. But I'll stop it before it comes. I know how to stop it before it comes because it's right there in the area of your thyroid gland, which is where your throat is, your Adam apple. That's where it starts at. That's when you feel it. You know a cold is coming. That's when you utilize zinc. You do the cayenne pepper tincture, or you do the cayenne pepper shot. The way I make it, Yaki makes it different, but you can watch him. All right? And you know, Jake's supposed to know this, because everything he says, he knows more than I know. He can run off all that stuff, just like Kanak. He can do that. He's pretty much on the same level. But I know a lot of things they say, oh, yep, that's true. Well, I got to look into that. And that's the way Jake becomes, you know, that's how they learn, what do you call it? Not allopathic, but homeopathic. You learn it from experiences. You don't got to go to the school. You learn it through the spirit. So a lot of you guys call yourself prophets, but somebody in your camp got diabetes. You say, go to the doctor, brother. No, you show them how to reverse it. That's an easy thing, brother. Reversing diabetes. That's something easy. You developing cataracts? There's herbs to turn that around.
That flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our God, the vengeance of his temple.
The bottom line is you guys are not on our level.
Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow. Camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work.
Once the missiles fly, you gonna die if you're in America. Bars.
According to all that she hath done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against the Lord, against
No, they're going to make it, because they're going to time it. When they see the missiles come, Jesus, baby, Jesus. And they're going to make it. You got these guys. Now, I heard, and please tell me that this is not the truth. This is his name Ariella from the House of Bread. Somebody said this. I didn't hear him say it, so I'm not gonna say he said it, because I ain't heard him said it. That he said some of the Edomites going to be beamed up too. I don't know if he said that. Who said it? Whoever said that in the video, you can let me know. I know who it is. I'm just saying, let me know. I know who said that. But no, Edomites is not going to be beamed up in the ships. Because in order for them to be beamed up in the ships, they got to be changed. Our whole molecular structure is going to have to change. We're going to have to get a extraterrestrial terrestrial / celestial body. We're going to be half angels and half man. So in the kingdom, we're going to be angels on earth. You know how the angels come down in the form of men? Well, we're going to be angels in the form of men. So we're going to be able to read your mind. We'll be able to see through walls. We'll be able to talk to animals. We'll be able to raise the dead. You kill an Edomite, you don't like the way he died, you raise his ass back up and kill him again. We're going to have true power. This is what Esau wants. He wants the vibranium. He knows that we got the vibranium. He wants the vibranium. He ain't going to get the vibranium.
Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord God of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee, and the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up.
And the most proud shall stumble and fall. Nero redivivos, he's arrogant and proud. Even his fellow Republicans don't like him.
Will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast, they refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong, the Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land, and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. And they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owl shall dwell therein. And it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell.
Sodom and Gomorrah, those are two of the 5 cities. It said the fire is going to come down from heaven. So this fire is going to come down in the form of long-range missiles.
Therein, behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel, and will not shew mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses.
There was a temple on Putin's life, and it went back to the president of Zelensky, but now they're saying that Babylon was behind it. They're going to use him as the patsy. So, you know, the best chess players on the planet are the Russians. They're not just athletic, but they're fucking wise. They're smart people. So Putin already knows. He said, yep, well, I know who was behind Zelensky. That's what he thinks. And they got people over there. They got spies over here, man. You know, Putin did an interview with Tucker Carlson. And Putin said, "Oh, I know your father's CIA, and I know you want to be a CIA." And nobody was supposed to know that. How do you know that? Them Russians are not stupid people. They're resilient people.
On foot in array, like a man to the battle, against thee, O daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble, anguished.
He gonna bitch up. He gonna shake. He gonna shake. His legs are gonna shake. He gonna go to the bathroom on himself. He might throw up. He's very fragile right about now.
Took hold of him in pangs as of a woman in travail. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man, that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely
his purpose is to take this place out.
The least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of
These are the flocks, are the small hats. So
The taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations.
Said the
Thus
earth,
saith the Lord.
it said the earth is moved. The whole earth is going to quake. So buildings all over the world is going to fall. So we're going to have to use these slaves to build up the kingdom, to build up the planet.
Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her,
So sweep them with the bosom or the broom of destruction, Isaiah 14.
and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men. Destroy ye utterly all her host. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her street.
Remember, and I always say this book is written in code. That's why they can't figure it out. That's why the scholars can't figure it out. Because this book is written in code. Give you an example. Egypt and Assyria, and in Isaiah 19, you had God logic pull that scripture out. And the brother, I forget the brother's name, he looked like an Ephraim, I believe he's Ephraim. He cut this dude cold, man. Vocab couldn't do nothing. And Vocab gave logic the scripture, and he wasn't even familiar with it. He just read it. And the dude cut him cold, man. Because y'all don't understand. Y'all can't decipher. You all can't decipher the scriptures. Because the book is written in code. So Egypt in Isaiah 19 is referring to Babylon the Great. Now you even got IUCBK that said, not IUCBK, I'm sorry, let me take that back. IUIC, they said, oh, that's just talking about Egypt. You had Israelites speaking the language. No. You had one guy in IUIC said that. Then you had Deacon Malachi say that's all Egypt is talking about America. So get your lies straight. And the reason why they say that, if you happen to run into a guy from IUIC, and you go into Isaiah 19, you say what's Isaiah 19 talking about when it's talking about Egypt and the cruel Lord? They may say America, or they may say, oh, that's talking about actual Egypt. Either way, you got them, because you know that that's not talking about actual Egypt. Because Isaiah came long after Egypt. So how can it be talking about ancient Egypt? Now, if they say it's talking about America, then you say, okay, you guys say we're not supposed to know the Hebrew. What is it, the 19th, 20th verse around there? It says 5 cities in the land of Egypt shall speak the language of Canaan, or the Phoenicians. The Canaan language is ancient Hebrew.
For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts. Though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel, flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut.
Who's going to flee? We're not going to get on planes and shit. We're going to be lifted. We're going to be beamed up into them ships, provided that we have the elect. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. I said, there ain't no guarantee for me to make it or any of y'all to make it. That's why you got to keep diligent. And it was fear in my heart. Like, what if you don't make it? And I said, well, there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm gonna keep being diligent, Brodies. I'm gonna stay diligent because of the fear. I do it because this is all. I had a movie Officer and a Gentleman. Lou Gossip said, you know, why do you want to be a flyer? You know, why you want to be a Marine or the Air Force? I think it was Air Force Academy or training camp. And he said, because this guy said, I want to fly jets. And Lou Gossip said, my grandmother wanted to fly jets. And then he said, why you here? Why you here? He said, you ain't got no friends, you got customers. Anyway, he got an Oscar for that too. He played the hell out of the drill sergeant. And he said, I ain't got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go. Well, guess what? Why am I in Israel? Because I ain't got nowhere else to go. Where am I gonna go? What am I gonna join? Get with Sarnet and them and be a black conscious person? Hang out with Yaki? Let me do herbal shows with Yaki. Nah, this is where I'm supposed to be, man. I ain't got no place. What the fuck am I gonna do doing something else? This is all I know. This is a part of me. Y'all can't get out of this. I'm going somewhere. Oh, Tahar, that's you, Elder Tahar. No, Pastor Tahar. Oh, yeah. I haven't drove the New York City train system in years, but I used to get on, use them trains. I'm talking about before the, I'll use Uber. I got money in my account, Uber account, so I'll hop in an Uber. But if I'm in the city, we talking about 10 years ago. Get on the train. There's always somebody. You Tahar, right? Yeah, I know. I'll be watching your video, And at first you be like, is this nigga a friend or foe? Anyway, I'm sorry. I can't get out of this. Anywhere like vocab. Vocab can't be an atheist because people, ain't you vocab? You don't believe in God no more. He's stuck to what he got to do.
Off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken.
Drunk through what? Through their philosophies, through their policies. At first it was Christianity. Now it's their policies, democracy, which that experiment called democracy, which Clinton spoke about in his inaugural address when he first became president. He called democracy an experiment. So the experiment then failed. Who's the current leader of America? Who was the former leader? Show you that democracy failed.
For wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen.
Yeah, because they were promised this, that, and the third. Then they were given. They went into their country. They took the gold and gave them the shaft.
Destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her.
The men of GMS Chicago was talking about that. They were talking about the infrastructure. There's no way you can build this up. You're going to need trillions and trillions of dollars and workers. And another thing, the U.S. school system is set up for you to fail. You go to school for 12 years, 13 years, kindergarten. Now they got pre-K and they got pre-K. You go to the 12th grade, you come out of school, you have no skills whatsoever. The school, and like if I was the president, let's say, every school would have a trade. You'd be an auto mechanic, diesel mechanic, truck mechanic, welder, a contractor, architect, pre-med, pre-law. When you graduate from the 12th grade and you in the pre-law, you damn near a lawyer. You can go work for a firm as a paralegal and work your way up to being a lawyer. Most cops, I know in New York, I know this for a fact because cops told me, a lot of cops, they get in the law, they in the court so much that they learn the law, and guess what? When they retire, they become lawyers. A lot of these lawyers that you see, a lot of them were former cops because they know the law. They're always talking with the lawyer, the prosecutor. I know that for a fact. Cops done told me that. They said, yeah, man, my cousin, man, he was a cop. He's a lawyer now.
And let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come, and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. For his
kings of the Medes are Russia. Now people will say, well, no, Medes is over. When you look at a map, this is the land of Medes. Russia is north of that or northeast of that. Well, when these prophets, Isaiah and Jeremiah, saw the missiles coming, they saw it coming from the land of the Medes. Because behind the land of the Medes was no man's land. And it was Israelites that went up there and broke ground and set up that. Who set up Russia? Russia was set up by Jakes. Was set up by the barbarians and the Scythians, which were Jakes. And even the word Scythians is found in the New Testament. Paul spoke about the Scythians, which were Jakes, that they can be delivered. So a lot of those Russians up there, a lot of them are Jake.
Device is against Babylon, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes. For the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures,
many waters. That's the people. That's in Revelation 17. That's the people. Sitteth upon many waters.
thine end is come.
Babylon, on the east coast, you got the Atlantic. The Atlantic, you can go from America to Europe to Africa. The west coast, you got the Pacific. From there, you can go to Russia, China, Korea, Japan.
And the measure of thy covetousness, the Lord of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, Surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. He hath made the earth by his...
Caterpillars, when you look it up, the word, there was locusts, and locusts come thousands. When they come, when they come for a crop, there's hundreds of thousands of them. So there's no way you can kill them.
Power, he hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heaven by his understanding. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. Every man is brutish by his knowledge, every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation they shall...
Yeah, this guy, Nero Redivivos, is a molten image that lives and speaks. Because how they come in there when they campaign? They promise you, they got the suit on, they got the wife, the kids, and all that. They'll go like Trump. He went to the McDonald's, he was serving people. Oh, he's just like us. He's a regular person. No, he's not. He don't give a fuck about you. This nigga's a multi-billionaire. He rubs elbows with multi-billionaires when he has... There was a couple of times where he got together with people behind him. Them guys are billionaires, man.
Fresh. The portion of Jacob is not like them.
He had that party, the Great Gatsby's themed party, and there was nothing but Edomites in there that had money, that were billionaires. He don't deal with millionaires. He deal with billionaires. He does them favors, man. He don't give a damn about you red hat people. I hope you red hat people are waking up to this guy. Because he's going to chip you. He's going to chip you when you got that red hat on.
For he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I...
The nation going to be saved? How the nation going to be saved when it said we're going to beat them down? It didn't say Edom, it said the nations. Edom, Moab, all these, Ham.
Destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroyest all the earth. And I will stretch out mine hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain.
That's America. That's America right there. There's going to be a burnt mountain. It's going to fall.
They shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord. Set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Minni, Ashkenaz, appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land...
Yeah, before this comes, it's going to be a time of great tension, because they're going to negotiate with Russia. Because something major is going to happen where there's going to be so much tension as to when you're going to have to have emergency sessions and try to get things straight. And then the Russians are not going to go for it. They said, fuck y'all, we're going to kill you motherfuckers. And not just Russia, but every nation outside of America that possess long-range missiles, they're going to use them. Spare not your arrows.
Of Babylon, a desolation without an inhabitant. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained...
Ain't nobody want to go to war, especially in America. You got you got certain nations that they born in war. So they don't give a shit. But American, you got Edomites, you got Jakes. We're living pretty good. You know, you got your cable, you got your streaming services, you know. You know, you can go to the club or whatever. You can do whatever you want. You know, you got some money. You made some good money. You made some investments. You got a boat, motorboat. You might have you rent a yacht or something like that. Go up to Vermont and ski. So now you got to go fucking fight a war in the middle of a fucking desert. They're gonna protest it. These Edomites are gonna protest this because they're gonna have to have a draft.
In their holes, their might hath failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to shew the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end, and that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh.
Now we know that it's not talking about the Neo-Babylon. It said the daughter of Babylon.
Sure, yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Nebuchadrezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me. He hath crushed me. He hath made me an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicates. He hath cast me out. The violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitant of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. Therefore thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will plead thy cause, and take vengeance for thee, and I will dry up her sea, and make her springs dry. And Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, an astonishment, and an hissing without an inhabitant. They shall roar together like lions, they shall yell as lions' whelps. In their heat I will make their feasts, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice, and sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, saith the Lord. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with he-goats. How is Shishak taken? And how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How is Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? The sea is come up upon Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof. Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land wherein no man dwelleth, neither doth any son of man pass thereby. And I will punish Bel in Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he hath swallowed up, and the nation shall not flow together any more unto him. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. And lest your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land, a rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land.
You know what it means by rumor for 1 year, then another year? Meaning every year that go by, we said this could be the year. That's a rumor. So we're hoping that 2026, it could be the year. We might have to be here another year. We're going to get mad, but we got to be here another year. But it could be 2027. It'd be nice if it was 2026. Mid 20, sometime in the spring or whatever, or even summer. We get out of here. So we don't know. Even the sun doesn't know. So it could be this year, it could be next year. I'll be shocked if we go to 2030. But if we got to go to 2030, I got to deal with it. We got to deal with it.
Ruler against ruler. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, shall sing for Babylon, for the spoiler shall come unto her from the north, saith the Lord. As Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall.
That's why you're gonna fall, because what you did to the Israelites, what you did to Gad, what you did to Judah, what you did to the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. You touched the apple of the Most High's eye, the chosen of the Most High, the sons. So when it's time for us to put you into captivity, it ain't gonna be a pleasant experience. So we're gonna step upon their necks in Baruch 4:25. And read that whole chapter. Really, you can start from the 15th verse on down, or read the whole chapter.
Slain of all the earth. Ye that have escaped the sword, go away, stand not still. Remember the Lord afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. We are confounded because we have heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces. For strangers are come into the sanctuaries of the Lord's house. Wherefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will do judgment upon her graven images, and through all her land the wounded shall groan. Though Babylon should mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her, saith the Lord. A sound of a cry cometh from Babylon, and great destruction from the land of the Chaldeans. Because the Lord hath spoiled Babylon, and destroyed out of her the great voice. When her waves do roar like great waters, a noise of their voice is uttered, because the spoiler is come upon her, even upon Babylon, and her mighty men are taken, every one of their bows is broken, for the Lord God of recompenses shall surely requite. And I will make drunk her princes, and her wise men, her captains and her rulers, and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, saith the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with
fire. That's talking about their defense system. And if defense system is going to be broken down.
Fire, and the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary. The word which Jeremiah the prophet commanded Seraiah the son of Neriah the son of Maaseiah, when he went with Zedekiah the king of Judah into Babylon in the 4th year of his reign. And this Seraiah was a quiet prince. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Seraiah, When thou comest to Babylon, and shalt see, and shalt read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Lord, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it.
Now, mind you, Jeremiah, he thought that he was seeing the destruction of the current Babylon, Neo-Babylon. So he's writing all this stuff down, and none of that stuff that he wrote down happened. Like I said, we know far more than the prophets. The prophets wrote this, was part of putting this book together, and we are the ones who interpret it.
Neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. And it shall be, when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it, and cast it into the midst of Euphrates. And thou shalt say, Thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah.
So anyway,
to reign, and he reigned 11 years.
So anyway, that I'm going to close on that. Let me just check this here. Give me a second. Let me check this here. I'm sorry, let me go over here. Okay, let me go over here. See what's happening over here.
Free all the time. I mean, that thing is.
Oh, let me do this. Oh, this is the one. This is 7 seal. Destruction. There was silence in heaven for about the space of an hour. That's Revelation chapter 8. Be the first or second verse. First verse, I believe. Rethink the Dollar speaks on the MOTB Live. Okay, let's go to that. Let's go to that. You ain't got nothing to do.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Archakwadash. Devil understood elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the four elect that are scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. We're now in the so-called new year, 2026, year of the sellouts, agents, and apostasies, or the apostates. And, I'm sure that, the usual suspects that we constantly warn about, they're going to double down, in their willful ignorance, pretending to these prophecies, that we're living to see in these last days. And that's why we're going to continue to stay upon our watch, as the scriptures say. Habakkuk. Matter of fact, let me start with that. Let's go to Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, start at the top. There's Habakkuk 2 and 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. When the Lord basically gives me the answer, then I'm going to run with it and just tell the people. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and write it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is...
Yeah, this is one of my favorite books too, Habakkuk's 2 chapter. If you read this from the first verse in the NLT, it breaks it down a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And this is how we measure the times diligently, is by seeking after the signs, the indicators, the tokens, looking at the geopolitical and economic moves that the beast is constantly making, in this major shift into this, new infrastructure, this new global system, which was prophesied. This was seen in the vision of John the Revelator on the Isle of Patmos. He saw into the future, and now we're living in that time. So now that we are living in that time, we're supposed to be standing upon our watch and, witnessing everything. And like it says in Sirach, the 38th or 39th chapter at the top. Let's go to Sirach 30. Yeah, Sirach 39. Starting at 1, it says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. And it tells you that, and also in Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, that he makes this knowledge, this wisdom, new in all ages. All right. And that type of wisdom, it makes, it can make you not only a prophet, but a friend of the Most High. So we got to definitely, dig deep. All right. It says, we'll seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. As a matter of fact, just to prove what I said. All right. So, because the Church of Berea, they wouldn't search, everything that Paul was telling them. So let me just do it for you. This is Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 26, and just dealing with wisdom. It says, I'm going to start at 25. It says, for she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of his goodness. And being but one, she could do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new. And in all ages, all right, you're going to seek out the wisdom of the ancient. She can make that same wisdom new again, right? In all ages entering into a holy soul, she maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. All right, so that's why it's very important to, get into these things. Okay. So anyway, I happened to catch this live just from Rethink the Dollar, and he's talking about how silver is gonna they're gonna set a new precedent, with the silver. Silver is gonna continue to skyrocket because there's a high demand for it right now. It's definitely needed, for this AI transformation.
Especially that the report, I did a video on this, you can check it about a week ago. China plans to hold silver, and how much they got? A lot of silver. They got metric tons of silver. I think it's something like 70,000 metric tons. That's a lot of silver. They're gonna stop exporting their silver to the world. So I believe that silver is gonna shoot up like gold did in the last. Gold done shot up, man. And silver, I believe silver's gonna do the same thing. I won't be surprised 6 months in. What's this? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, summer, end of June, or the end of June, beginning of July. I wouldn't be surprised if silver is $500 an ounce.
So, and it's a energy. It's one of the greatest energy conductors. So this is part of why they need silver, as well as copper and certain other metals, and also the currency. Is being devalued by the day. Is being diminished the worth. All right, so these metals are going to continue to skyrocket. So he's going into it, but then of course, this Jake, having that zeal, but not according to knowledge, he starts to go into what the mark is, right? So that's what I'm, getting at, and I'm gonna play it so y'all can listen, all right? Because the mark is on its way. It's already here. The infrastructure is already here. That's what from the time of COVID in 2020, there was a big, change, a big transformation. That event set everything off, and it led off that domino that led to all these other dominoes falling over the past years. It set the tone for them to create this infrastructure that we're transitioning into now as we speak, with everything being biometrical, under surveillance, and digital. So your currency is going to be that as well. So they're going to phase out the petro. So anyway, let's listen to him.
5G towers, cameras everywhere. That was the infrastructure being set up. The next event going to lead to the actual.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, the elder out of the West, let's say the California, Yashawan, he had called, 5, 6, 7 years ago. He had called this guy's show, because I used to watch him. What's this guy? Rethink the Dollar, right? That's his show. And so that elder Yashawan called him. They broke it down to him, name of Yahweh Shai, Chip, and all that. And he was, he was kind of saying yes and agreeing with it. I don't know how much he picked up on it. I'm pretty sure a lot of these people that we see, they watch our videos too. So just so you know, he's been told that he's an Israelite.
Cutting on of the total surveillance switch, where people going to line up across the country to get their ID score and to get their UBI, because you got to have one to get the other. And
yep, it's all going to be interconnected. Your social security, it's like your social credit score, your digital ID with all your information is going to be needed for you to get access to, certain apps, to do banking. Everything that you use or service, to get your daily necessities, you're going to need it. All right. So Esau, like the apostles was going into the, this past week, Esau's cutting off the ring. And if they basically cornering the people into this system, and you're going to have no choice. But it's up to a certain point, where you're going to have to, deal with it. But then there's going to be a major point that you're going to have to cut completely away from it. And that's when this new system of, digital identification, when it goes from being mobile to being subdermal, all right? Look up subdermal. I keep bringing that word up because recently your president said something like under the skin, all right?
That's what he said. He spoke about, we're going to get 6G now? Oh, what do you mean? Something like under the skin? That's what he said. That's what he said.
The guy who came up with the 6G at their WEF meeting, he talked about technology being under the skin.
World Economic Forum, which in, 2 weeks they're going to have the World Economic Forum. I've been watching them for years. They'll have it on CNBC. I get up in the morning, about 2 weeks in. I believe it's 2 weeks in, maybe 3 weeks in, but they're there for a week. They're in Davos, Switzerland for that meeting, which is called the the WEF, World Economic Forum. The last one that they had to cancel one because of the C ragamuffin. Then they had one the following year, something like the following 2 years. And what they were talking about, these different tech people and multi-billion-dollar people. There's one guy that had, either he's the president or the former president or the CEO of Nokia, and he said the phones are going to be different in the coming years, that the phone, instead of you having a phone, all the technology is going to go into your hand. He didn't say the right hand or left hand. And then you got, on top of it, you got Neuralink. You have a company that had been around before Neuralink, which is called Neurotech, which is the same thing as Neuralink. So we see the wolf coming. See, you other camps don't see the wolf coming.
All right, the memorandum on the White House government site, and when it talks up, it's giving you the summary of the goal of 6G. You can read it, and it literally says in there, implantable technologies. And you know what an implant is. So they're going to move forward with it. And
so wait a minute. But these guys, these great Hebrew Israelite teachers, they don't see it. I don't see nothing. It's spiritual.
That's when all you guys that was in denial, all you guys that act like you couldn't see it, then it's going to be known that prophets have been among you. Okay?
Ooh.
That's when everybody's going to be tried and tested. But let's keep going.
And this is where people be like, man, you know what? I'm not participating. I'm not going to do that. Fair enough. You will only be able to get by for so long before you're forced to. Because if you have any connection with the connected financial world, you're going to have a score. You're going to have access to...
Yeah, the buying and selling world, the financial transaction world, right? And, you pay bills through that world. You pay your rent through that world. See? You pay your car note or whatever through that world. So we're going to see. This is where, faith is going to have to, really, be in full use, at its height, man. Faith, we're going to have to step out on faith. Being willing to walk away from this all and just, trusting in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, which the scriptures say. Let me just get that. Let's go to Psalm 55 and 22. And it says, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. he shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Remember all the scriptures we read that comforts us about how, you know, the righteous shall, in a time of famine, thou shalt laugh, and, you know, all these different things that's going to take place, but the Most High is going to keep you under his divine protection. Remember Isaiah 65:13, my servants shall eat, but they shall hunger. You know, my servant shall drink, but thou shalt starve. Remember these verses, man. You know, because knowledge and wisdom is going to be your stability. Let me get that too. All these scriptures will be in mind to keep you stable. And then you're going to see the Lord acting these things out, you know, after reading these things and believing it. Isaiah 33:6 says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. And I always look up this word stability. And the word is amawana, going back to the word amawan, which means what? Faith. It says firmness, figuratively security, morally fidelity, faith, faithful, faithfully, faithness, right? Firmness, fidelity, steadfastness, steadiness. You know, and you know that's what we're to, you know, be. Continue to stay firm in this thing, no matter what the conditions are. All right, and as long as you know, keep yourself firm, you'll endure. You know, you endure to the end, you will receive salvation. You will be saved. Okay, so let's go back.
UBI, therefore, on your phone, an app from the government with some stablecoin or CBDC in it. And so, once again, there's no way around it because it's inevitable, in my opinion. But then again, that doesn't mean that, you know, by participating, like, you know, you sold out, you gave in. No, you got to do what you got to do to make sure that you and yours are protected. And once again, like people say, oh, the market.
Now, I'm gonna let him cook, but
hold up, he been watching us. Oh, the mark of the beast.
You know, we've made mention before. You know, it's not the mark until it goes into your body, under your skin, based on the Greek word charagma. All right, it's going to be in your forehead or in your hand, basically in your head or in your hand. That's in your body, and that's going to be your badge of servitude. We always bring up the example of the law of the master and the servant. You know, if a servant, you know, loved his master and wanted to stay in his house and serve him, then what would the master do? He will bore him with an awl so that you can become his permanent servant. Esau is going to try to do the same thing, but it's going to be in digital form. So he's going to put something in you.
That digital awl is going to cause, when the Most High comes, the Most High want to save you. He can't save you because you made a decision for Esau to be your God.
But it's going to be a digital framework. It's going to link you and connect you to the system. All right, and basically your body is now intertwined. It's joined. You know, like when you join in a marriage, how does a man join in marriage to a woman? By cutting into that woman, joining flesh to flesh. All right. So Esau is going to want to, he's going to try to join you onto the beast via this technology, this micro C-hip. Once you put that in your body, you've been biohacked. Now his property, you belong to him. You become his possession. Because now he can control your every move. And everybody's basically controlled, you know, by this monetary system. If you need to eat, you need to, you know, drink. You need shelter, you need this, you need that. You're gonna have to depend upon this government for everything. And they're already getting the people conditioned through this UBI, where basically they're just, giving you an allowance to live. You got to live off the allowance that they give you digitally. And then they get to control what you can buy, how much you can buy. So there's going to be limitations to everything. So you see what they're doing with the SNAP benefits. They're controlling what you can buy with those SNAP benefits now. Soda and all that junk food, which I actually support that. You jakes are too damn bloated and overweight, buying all that bullshit, with those SNAP benefits. So they cutting that out. So now you better get you some produce.
Everything in the supermarket is fucking GMO.
You try to use it to eat right while you got it. But this is all to get you conditioned to the new system. So for the meantime, while it's not going under your skin, if you got to use it, you use it. But once that decree comes out, and now you got to get the implant to continue everything, that's what's going to be the major faith tester. That's when it's all going to, come together. Everybody's going to finally get to see what we've been talking about. But anyway, let's let Jake cook.
You got checkpoints to get to. So just because you accept the digital ID, in my opinion, doesn't mean you took the mark. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, people are like...
because right now, it's mobile. It's on your smartphone, You can always, at some point, you could dispose of the phone. You can, toss it. You can shut it off, and they won't be able to track you. Put it into your hand. Put it into your arm. Put it into your brain. It's not coming out. You literally have to risk your life to take it out of you. You have to lose a lot of blood to get it up out of you. All right.
People are here like, I'm watching so many Mark of the Beast stuff, like, oh, the mark, like the mark, like, focus on making sure your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life, because the mark is a distinguisher of those that are not going to be able to receive salvation. So if you are in Christ, if you're born again, your name's in the book. Therefore, the mark.
Yeah, so Jake is obviously he has a Christian understanding. Jake is Christian. So he doesn't have the exact same perspective, but the mark is going to be a physical mark. All right, and I'm pretty sure he knows that 6G and all this infrastructure rollout, when they finally roll out that the implant, these implantable technologies that is going to be required for you to use if you want to continue. That's when you're going to be tested. That's when he's going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma, a mark in their right hand on their foreheads, and that they may buy or sell. They may not buy or sell save he that had this particular mark. So you understanding about the financial sector, you should know this. It's not some spiritual distinguishing mark. Like when we go into Ezekiel 9, it tells the angel to set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sign cry for all abomination that be done in the midst. That's a distinguishing mark. That's the mark of exemption. It goes back to the Hebrew word tawa. All right. And then when you go to Revelation, which is a different, this is a seal. That's a distinguishing mark. It tells the angel to put the mark upon the foreheads of the 144,000. All right. Basically, there's gonna be a seal. Where all the Lord's elect are going to be sealed in their foreheads. All right, they're going to be authenticated, stamped. With a spiritual seal, so the angels will know who's the elect and who isn't. You have that harvest where the angels are going to be reaping, going to separate the wheat from the tares, the sheep from the goats. All right. But the mark of the beast is a completely different mark from the distinguishing mark that the Lord is going to have the angels place upon his elect. And those whose names were written in the book of life, they were chosen before the foundation of the world. Those are Israelites. Not just any old Christian that say that they believe. No, the elect of Israel. Their names are written in the book of life because they were chosen.
Because this guy, Mike, believes that if you under the blood of Jesus, no matter what color you are, he doesn't understand, and it was explained to him many years ago. I told you that. I said it in the beginning of this portion of the video. The elder by the name of Yashawan. He explained the whole thing to this dude. This was 8 years ago, I would say. He might even speak on it. He broke it down to him that he's an Israelite. Now, when he said the mark of the, he got to be watching us, man. So he just doesn't understand.
Before the foundation of the world. All right?
Shouldn't really concern you that much. Don't be afraid of the mark. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go through some things if you're still around, but more than likely, God going to bring you through. So keep your mind focused on the prize at the end. You know what I'm saying?
So he's saying he probably sold out. They gave him a whatchamacallit. They gave him a bag. He's saying, don't worry about that, trust in Jesus and you can take that mark. No. Once you take that mark, you're done.
We win. We inherit the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. The meek shall inherit the earth. So
yeah, the Lord's elect, which is Israel, they're going to inherit. Let me get Isaiah.
I'm almost positive this man is listening to us and been listening to us for years.
This is Isaiah 60. Yeah, Isaiah 65 and 8. I'll start at verse 6. It is the Lord pissed with his people, which is why he had to. He always had to have his remnant around just to preserve Israel, to keep from destroying the whole nation, because he made a covenant, with our forefathers, starting with Abraham, Isaac, down to Jacob. It says, Isaiah 65 and 6 says, "Behold, it is written before me, I will not keep silence, but will recompense into their bosom." Talking about the wicked of our people that refuse to turn back from their iniquities and repent. It says, "Your iniquities and the iniquities of your fathers together, saith the Lord, which have burned incense upon the mountains and blasphemed me upon the hills, and worshiping these other idols. Therefore will I measure their former work into their bosom. Thus saith the Lord, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one saith, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it, so will I do for my servants' sakes, that I may not destroy them all." That's why it says, if he wouldn't have created a remnant, we would have been like unto Sodom and Gomorrah. So the Lord has an elect that he established before the world began. They're whose names is written in heaven, all right? It says, "And I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob, and out of Judah, inheritor of my mountains, and mine elect shall inherit it." That's the meek that's going to inherit the earth, because he created the world for Israel's sake. Let's go to 2nd Ezra. Second Ezra 6 and verse 54, it says, "And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. And this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes." Israel, the chosen people, he made the world for our sakes. "As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle." They're in comparison, they're insignificant, right? "And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel." It says, "And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us, and to devour us. Because, yeah, they've been dominating over us. They've been ruling, and we ain't had anything. You tribes, you so-called Negroes, West Indians, you indigenous Hispanics of North, Central, and South America, and you Native American Indians. All right? Esau came over here and, took over. We know the history. We know what he had to do. But it was all according to prophecy. They began to rule over us, made us serve their God, worship their version of the Most High, which is basically them. They put their own face up, and control all the laws and the policies, control over all the resources wherever we dwell, and to devour us, man. We got saturated into, Esau's poisonous wine, his philosophies. Our people became a bunch of freaks, dykes, adulterers, moles. Our people were devoured, man, because they got seduced by the wicked. So the question is being asked, man, like, we're the chosen people, and the world was created for our sake, but look at what happened to us. Why is these things are happening, and how long is it going to endure? That was the question that he was giving the angel, Prophet Ezra. All right. So we're gonna be the ones to inherit the earth. All right. It says, "But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn," Israel is the firstborn. "Thy only begotten and thy fervent lover are given into their hands, and even to this very day, and they refuse to let us go." It says, "If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? And how long shall this endure?" So that's why there's going to be a remnant of Israelites that maintain their faith unto the end, even at the brink of death. And some of us are even going to be martyred and put to death, but the Lord's going to raise us back up, and we're going to, come back, and we're going to actually inherit the earth. And it's not the way, these Christians think we're going to inherit the earth. Because the Lord's going to basically take the kingdom. He's going to take it by force. And you read that in Daniel, the 7th chapter. The saints shall take the kingdom. So what do you think that means? What does that entails? It is 2nd Ezra 9 and verse 20. It says, "So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that would come into it. And I saw and spared it greatly." And that world is the cosmos of Israel, Yasharallah. "And have kept me a grape of the cluster and a plant of a great people." And like it said in Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, the Lord planted us to be a noble vine unto him, but they become a degenerate plant of a strange vine to him. So because of that, verse 22, "Let the multitude perish then which was born in vain." The ones that became degenerated, all right, that just, they became just completely vain, like the heathen, worshiping idols and with no chance of turning back and repenting. Like our people, they find a justification in the directions that they go into. Like it says in Proverbs, the way there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the inner of are the ways of death. Like you can't get a nigga that's been deeply seeped into the world of Islam and speaking fluent Arabic. You're not going to get away in the way of him and his Allah. So a dude like that, he's born in vain. All right. Same with these plantation Christians worshiping a Edomite, blue-eyed, recessive gene Edomite, stringy hair, long hair, recessive, translucent devil. That's what they worship. That's what them Nigerians are dying over in Africa. It says, "Let the multitude perish then which were born in vain, and let my grape be kept. am I plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. And that's the Lord's elect. I have created 7,000 men that will not bow their knee to the image of Baal. And then when you read Revelation 14 about the 144,000, Revelation 14 and verse 4 says, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. Meaning they didn't go astray from these strange women, which the strange woman is a metaphor for false philosophy, false religion, which can be enticing, to our people. The elect, they're gonna remain faithful and loyal. Like the Lord said, they that thou hast given me, are mine, and they that are mine are thine, and no man can pluck them out of mine hand. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. They hear not the voice of strangers. My sheep hear my voice, and they follow me. These were redeemed from among men. All right, the saints, the Israelites, from all over the world, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb. Their names were written in heaven, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High. All right, and these were the men who sung the new song. They were prophesying, and our people, the foolish versions, they wasn't trying to get with the program. They didn't take the oil in their lamps. But part of that song was what? Singing about the beast, singing about the mark.
Yeah, the whole book. You eat the whole roll. And then you sing the song. Whether they like the song, part of the song is grape. Part of the song is MOTB. Part of the song is Edomites are going to be burnt up and done away with. Part of the song, other nations going into captivity. Part of the song, all Israelite men are going to have thousands of women that are all going to be virgins. They're going to be 12 years old. When they hit that puberty, 12 and a half, that's when we're going to deal with them. And every woman that we get, they all going to be pregnant. Every time we get a woman, pop them, they're going to be pregnant. And you got the least man in Israel. He can have 1,000 women, they call them nubile. Look that word up, nubile. That's what the Epstein people. Technically, they really wasn't doing nothing wrong biblically, But they made them laws because Jake was popping them Edomites. They had to make them laws to separate, certain age and all that. Back in the day, 1700s, they didn't have no fucking laws. They about how old. I'm not trying to sound like a dirty old man, but I'm just saying in the kingdom, we're going to get them young. And you guys have bucked up against it because you've been in America too long and you was raised up by your mother. She's a mama boy.
Singing about basically becoming a martyr, for the sake of the Lord. Your faith being tested. So, yeah. And these same men they're gonna be given a victory over this. So what Esau is doing right now, he thinks he's succeeding, but the victory is already set in stone. The game is already rigged in the favor of the Lord's chosen. All right, so I hear where Jake is coming from, but to be more on point, that mark is going to be a physical mark. And Esau's going to he's going to corner everybody into this system until he finally rolls it out. That's when you're going to have to take that stand and trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. To the point of, being persecuted, being X'd out of society, which is going to be a very hard thing to do. But through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. So, that's pretty much my response to this, he's still going live. All right, but yeah, man, 2026, the year of all these sellouts and spies, agents, apostates, it's going to continue. The Lord's also going to make things more known and manifested and revealed at the same time, man. So let's keep our eyes open. All right, with much prayer, and with that, let me give all honor, all praise, and glory to Yahweh Shem El Shai. Shalom.
You heard what the man said. He said that Mark stuff. You got to. As long as you're in the blood of Jesus. I'm looking for this guy Gannon. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Let me do myself a favor. None. I think the name is. Or is it Gammon? I'm looking for this guy. Gammon. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Let me just try this. Okay, boom, I found it. George Gammon. This guy did a video and he broke down, this is like 5-6 years ago. And he broke down the MOTB, but he didn't go to the scriptures. He just broke it down because he's a banking guy. He goes all into the banking system. And if you go to my, let me see if I can get to my, I don't want to search, open up the Odyssey page. It's on Odyssey. Give me a second here. Let me do this. Okay, this is, I put this up the other day, last night actually, on my Rumble account. This is my Rumble page. Where the hell am I? Right, at Declaring the End. This is on my Rumble page. And I put this video, this is put up by Richie from Boston. Anyway, I believe, let me do this. Give me a second. I don't even use this that much. My content. Let's go to my content. See if I put it on this page as well. Okay, this one you should watch. This one you should watch. Cumin and turmeric. Watch this one. And this is from this is on the Know the Ledger. Red pill and blue pill. Number 2, Reubenites, Seminoles. Them brothers are Seminoles, which is a good thing. Info on the C19. Okay, this was put up 11 months ago. I'm trying to find. This might be a good one. Pack for the future, aka the MOTB. 1 year ago. The fire shall devour thy bars. Redacted knows that the micro C hip is the fulfillment of Revelation 13. Right, I believe they even mentioned the scriptures. They could be Jake's. What's his name? Clayton Morris and what's his wife's name? Damn. Natalie and Clayton Morris. They might be Jake's. I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't. I'll be surprised if they weren't Jake's. The internet. I spelled that wrong. Speak does our heavy lifting. Seeing if the Gannon. He did this video like 7 years ago. Something like that. It's another guy from Germany, George something. And he quotes this guy about that. He said that everybody gonna get a microchip, but they didn't go into the book of Revelation. And I don't want to try to open up my Odyssey page. But if you go to my Odyssey, I'm gonna have to. Give me a second. Let me do this. Yeah, I'm gonna go to my Odyssey page. Okay, let me see. I'm just checking out silver. Silver's pretty much steady. Okay, let me go. The bacon. I don't need this no more. Let me go to Odyssey. Odyssey.com. Let's see if my account comes up. Okay, good. My account came up. Now, what's going on here? I need my content. Uploads, channels. Let me go back home. Please bear with me for a minute, y'all. Okay, this is my home page. Bear with me for a minute, y'all. I want home. I don't want. Okay, here it is. Odyssey.com/@TaharBunLawyer. I'm gonna try to find this. I put this up some years ago. Maybe 3-4 years ago, I believe. Content. See, these are videos. Okay, this is the guy right here. George something. He's a top banker out of Germany. Will digital IDs be embedded under the skin of every child by 2025? So this was put up it had to be put up 2 years ago. It says a year ago. So here it is, 2026. So they're behind schedule. Pack for the Future, aka the MOTB. Here's again RFID microchip, MOTB microchip. I'm trying to find that video. And the guy George from Germany, he speaks to these bankers, so he tells them about the mark of the beast, without even going into the scriptures. See, these videos I couldn't put. Oh, this video right here. He said in this video, he said you take the jump shot. So we got all the receipts. Bear with me for a minute, y'all. I want you to get it. Okay, here he is again. I don't know if this is it. It's all coming together. CBDC MOTB system. This, I forget his name. If I open up the video, he'll give his name. But he makes a speech, and Gannon says, he mentions this guy about how the banking, there's central banks, and there's going to be one central bank based in London, and in order to access that deal money, you would have to get a chip. FDA approves Neuralink brain chip, MOTB. Let me do this. Fair, what am I saying? Fair use for this is my video.
What's the point? I mean, I hear you. You're saying they're trying to create a crisis because when you create a crisis, then you can affect change. What is the change you think they're trying to do right now to us?
Yes, well, actually, we have to look at the picture, the big picture of what has happened since 2020, and on the
what happened in 2020, 2019, 2020, 2021?
one hand, the central bankers have come out since 2020 very quickly, already in March 2020, with some public statements about what they want to do. And surprise, surprise, they want to introduce CBDCs. So that is clearly one goal.
GMS was the ones that Israel, all the Israelite camps. It was GMS that introduced to you the acronym CBDCs. It was us. We ahead of the game.
Now, in order to introduce central bank digital currencies, what they need is digital IDs. And clearly, they've been working backwards from their goal. How can we introduce CBDCs? We need an excuse. And then work backwards. What do we need for that? We need digital IDs. Well, again, how do we introduce digital IDs? We need another excuse to do that. Well, the so-called pandemic delivered a great excuse. Well, at least they thought. I mean, it wasn't really very convincing, but somehow they argued that you needed to be injected with this.
And people, stupid people, people that didn't know, people whose eyes aren't open. Look at this. This is 2.5 years ago. I put this up.
Experimental substance, and then somehow you need it in order to enter any restaurant or shop. You needed digital ID confirming that you've been injected. When, of course, it was very quickly clear that this injection was not actually slowing transmission or preventing illness, and had a lot of risks attached to them. So the justification wasn't very strong, but they definitely pushed these digital IDs, the passports, very hard, and again in a coordinated fashion. So you see where this is going. And the goal is actually on the monetary side. That is the prize they're aiming for. They're aiming for CBDCs connected to digital IDs. And that means we're talking about the most totalitarian control system in human history.
The only way to answer those questions is to practically test it with your local domestic and commercial banks to understand what does this mean. So from our perspective, I mean, we're an infrastructure provider. We create the issue CBDCs and the interoperability of CBDCs with payment systems. And the common themes are around why a digital pound, why a digital euro, why a digital dollar. And it's an evolution of money, and cash is always going to be there, as Tom was just saying. But having a digital form of cash, a new form of smart money, can really unlock a lot of benefits to consumers and businesses, because we're right now relying on a traditional architecture of push and pull payments, and having logic built in by having the ability to program money to do innovative things is going to really transform how GDP can grow, how businesses can reduce workflows, and how consumers can spend a new form of money. So we're at the beginning of that thinking. But
a new form of money, digital money. You're going to get a sort of a card or your smartphone. You get the app on your smartphone. And that's not taking the mark. But eventually they're going to say, oh, you lose your phone. Somebody can steal your phone. Somebody can hack your phone. We came up with an idea that if you put a chip in you, then we know it's actually you. But unless a man chops your fucking your hand off and he comes to the store, we can know that that's not his hand. So that's how they're gonna present it. And we hear a great millstone saying that the true prophets are the Most High.
The next step is to practically test it with your local domestic banks.
I want people to go read Executive Order 14067. Executive Order 14067, signed by Uncle Joe, the 8th of March of 2022, and it went into effect 13 December 2022.
COVID makes it accelerates the process of digitalization and automatization. It legitimizes the deployment of mass surveillance, and it makes surveillance go under your skin.
The nature of the CBDC.
Did you hear that? Go under your skin. Hey, all these major Israelite groups is teaching counter to what we're teaching. They sold out. Hey, I don't believe Genesis is going to teach about the mark of the beast no more, because that's part of them getting that check.
It makes surveillance go under your skin.
The nature of the CBDC. What is it? The nature of the CBDC.
Mass surveillance, and it makes surveillance go under your skin.
The nature of the CBDC. What is it actually going to look like?
Of mass surveillance, the process of.
This is a guy named Noah Harari. Yovel Noah Harari. He's an Israeli citizen, and he's a happy person. But he's behind that. He's a major player in that whole thing that we're talking about.
And automatization, it legitimizes the deployment of.
And that shows you that Israel is not a legitimate country. It's not the fulfillment of prophecy. Because why would they openly let? He's openly happy, and I believe he lives in Tel Aviv.
Mass surveillance, and it makes surveillance go under your skin.
It makes surveillance go under your skin. What are you guys waiting for? What are you guys waiting for?
Nature of the CBDC. What is it actually going to look like? They never talk about that. But I heard one European central banker tell me what it's going to look like, and it was around this large, and would be implanted under your skin.
CBDC. If that happens, we're done.
China's taken over, and China, I heard a couple of people say, well, the dollar will never lose the dollar standard. Are they kidding?
Now the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have announced plans to develop a new currency.
To turn off your access to your own money, so you will not be able to buy or sell anything. This is what I mean about how dangerous it is.
You're shut out of the economy.
You are shut out of the economy, and of course it's all subjective, and it will all be in the hands of these Marxists, right? And so you and I won't be able to buy anything. This is why it's so dangerous, because this spells the end of your economic freedom. Yeah. And I'm not sure the American people are really paying close attention to it. I'm glad Senator Cruz and some others, Governor DeSantis, they're paying attention to it. But this is moving very fast down the track. And we need more leaders. This is what I mean about how
we'll never lose the dollar standard.
European central banker tell me what it's going to look like, and it was around this large, and would be implanted under your skin.
You guys, you go ahead and you keep listening to them black guys from Harlem. You keep listening to a guy named Black that Nate came under, the tutelage of a guy named Black. Keep listening to Bishop Nate. Keep listening to General Yohana. Keep listening to these guys teaching contrary to what GMS is teaching. You're going to find out that we are the true men of the Most High. Anyway, Shalom, on to the next.